Hey, what's up, Gat Cat? How you doing, dude? Nice to see ya. And welcome everyone to the stream. Going to be doing actually the same thing we did last week. I was planning on doing some reserve stuff, but you know what? I got midterms coming up. Got to stay focused on school. I've been doing some of the research for my reserve video, but you know what? The video itself is going to be a long time coming. But if you're interested in learning the content, that's going to start pretty soon. So this next week, I got a bunch of tests. I got some things to do. And the week after is reading break. What that means is I get about 9 days off. I'll be doing some schoolwork and some studying, but I won't have any official classes. So it's all just gonna be, me reviewing, and I'm gonna get to pour a bit of time into working on reserve content. So what that means is I'm going to be doing some live streams where I go through a route that I come up with based on what I believe to be important in learning a map. In the case of reserve, it's going to be a little different than my customs video. It's going to be a little different. I'll explain a little bit about that. I'm doing good, Gat Cat. Thanks for asking, man. I'm always excited for Tuesdays and Sundays. I enjoy these days. It gives me like a little way to feel more social. So what the sessions will look like are what I was going to say about the video styles. And on customs, I collected information that made sense to learn the map from a holistic standpoint. So doing tasks on a map, is important. So you need to know those locations. Tasks, key spawns, no brainer, where you're finding those. And then, extracts, and then like a little bit of, I guess that's basically it. Yeah, key spawns, tasks, extracts. On reserve, there's not that many tasks, so I'm gonna cover those locations, but then reserve is gonna be largely about knowing where the like good loot locations are. Not necessarily like gonna be a loot guide, but letting people know where are people going to, like letting players know where people trying to go to on reserve, so that you know how to play the map and how to move around it better. And so I've been doing some research to get myself organized on that one, and I will I'll have some of that done, and we'll start doing live streams soon where I'm going through that process. So it's going to be similar to what the end product, the end video is. No. That's not good. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a little reset of my Elgato here. Hopefully that fixes it. So anyways, reserve live content starting soon. The biggest difference is it's not going to have a mini map because it'll be live. I tried thinking about if I could pull something like that off, and there's I could kind of do it, but not going to worry about that. Anyways, what we're going to get into today are some more profit scav runs on customs. So if you're a newer player and you're trying to figure out how can I make money, how can I fund my PMC adventures, I'm going to show you how you can do it. I'm going to talk you through my strategies. I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to talk a little bit about best practices that you can employ as a brand new player, things you can do right away that are automatically going to improve your game and your ability to make profit and money. So you're going to load up a scav run just like I am right now, and I will share what I do. Too bad I like Tarkov more than football. That's not a bad thing. If you were to ask me who's playing in the Super Bowl today, I couldn't actually tell you. I have an idea. I haven't been following sports for a minute. I'm surprised that sports are going as well as they are right now during a pandemic. It's pretty wild, I'm mostly into hockey. So if there was easy to watch hockey playoffs going on right now, but then again, I didn't even watch the hockey playoffs when they were going on. So I don't know, man. Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. How you doing, Corey? Good to see you, dude. So I'm going to show you profit strategies. I'm going to talk a little bit about what you should be employing if you're not doing it already as a newer player, or even as a, you know, an experienced player. I see a lot of experienced players missing out on certain mechanics and certain strategies that they could be using to make better use of their time. And that's really what this comes down to, is that if you play the game better, you're going to make better use of your time. And I talked a little bit about this last stream, but you know, I was discussing the difference between fighting on your scav versus fighting on your PMC, and some people really like the opportunity of fighting on your scav because it's like, oh, it's a free loadout, right? You didn't have to pay for it, which is sweet. But what I like to do is I like to take my scav loadouts off of my scav, along with a whole bunch of other profit. I'll equip my PMC, slightly upgrade the stuff, you know, so you can essentially be running your PMC like a scav. The only difference between those two are that, you know, your PMC you start with everyone else, so that can be a real challenge. And if you're struggling as a PMC at the beginning of raids, that's totally normal. And what some people will do is they'll chill literally for like, you know, 10-15 minutes, and then the raid plays just like it would on a scav raid. I didn't realize how dark it was going to be. Just gonna get in. So the first thing I always do is check my inventory from a place of concealment, and I can see that I have a shotgun, but I want to know, you know, like, what else do I got? So we got a lab's key card. That's fun. I got some bandages. I hover my mouse over the Esmarch here, which is a heavy bleed. You can tell this if you double click on anything. You can see here it stops heavy bleed, and we can see that it takes 5 seconds to use it. So I hover my mouse over it and press the number key, and you can do 4 through 0 for your meds, and it has to be in your pockets in your rig. And then I did the same thing for this other bandage, and I know what these items are, but if you don't know what they are, you know, take a second, and then it'll always say what the item does on the, I think it's always on the right side. So this case here, it stops light bleeding, so we can take care of ourselves if we get bleeds. So I'm gonna do something cheeky. Less than 10 minutes left. So someone told me that scav runs are like 11 to 13 minutes now on customs, which I'm totally cool with. And because we'll still make a boatload of profit. So Old Road Gate and Railroad to Port. I'm going to try and maximize my route to hit as many valuable loot locations along the way. So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because I'm planning to go to either Old Road Gate or we'll go to Railroad to Port. We'll see. Chiefs versus the Bucks. I couldn't even name one player on either of those two teams. But again, I'm not a football fan, so don't hate me. How you doing, Jerzane? All right, we got aviators. Nice. So one of the things that you could be doing right now as a beginning player is using Control and Alt-click a lot more, if not like always. And just take some time and practice the mechanics. If you don't do it regularly, force yourself. Like, think about it. You know, practice in a raid list. Like, take some stuff out here. So I'm gonna Control-click these. You know, if you want to like ingrain the habit into your brain, you got to do it a few times. So I put it back, and I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna do that. And anytime I catch myself, so this would be good. If you catch yourself and you're like, oh, I should have done that. Well, then put it back in here and then Alt-click it onto your character. And if you don't know this mechanic, Alt-click will basically put stuff on your character, so equip it in your slots, and then Control will put things into your containers. So those are the two differences there. Yeah, I mean, previously to today, I got raids sometimes that were 40 minutes, so we'll see how this goes. 10 minutes, you can play pretty like carelessly, I would say, you know, in terms of how scav runs go. Something else I like to do is organize my inventory so that I put 1 square items in 1 square slots. So again, Alt-click, Control-click. I'm gonna leave those because I don't think I'm gonna need them. So Control-click and Alt-click, those are two big ones. Usually, you want to know what kind of ammo you're using on your scav. Quite important. And the reason why you're going to want to know your ammo early on is because you want to know, like, can I get through armor? And if you can't, then you're probably going to avoid most player fights, especially if you see a really geared dude. Unless you like know you're going to be able to get him in the face. And you see that I go prone after I click the loot button, so that's to reduce my vulnerability while I'm looting. Let's see if there's anything in here. I'm expecting that most of these buildings are going to be looted. I'm assuming that these have been looted, even though it says that it hasn't been. So we can see a missing spot there. Let's take caps. So I got 7 minutes. We're probably going to extract at Old Road. Oh, someone put those bullets in there. Containers will close if you spawn in after they've been opened. So on scav runs, it's pretty common. So we're actually just going to get back out into the forest. Yeah, I'm doing great, Jerzane. I'm doing great. I've been hitting the books pretty hard. So I'm in college and working to get good grades, good marks. I spend most of my time studying, reading, rereading, restudying. And it pays off. I've never been as disciplined at school as I am right now. So it's something that, you know, it takes time. Discipline is not something that we naturally just have. You got to work at it, do things when you don't want to. Yeah, I'm okay with this whole like shorter time thing. Honestly, it's not that bad. We just got to be careful that we don't get too careless and let somebody walk by us or walk by somebody. So I do a bit of free looking as I'm going around. And normally, you know, I have a pretty clear understanding of the directions that I like to go. And it's just from like a lot of trial and error. So I have two main thought processes in how I'm choosing where to go. Or like the route to take. So it's either, number one, the path of least resistance. And this is the, if you know the map really well and you know like where people are going to go. So you know where the tasks are, you know where the loot is. Most people go from like spot to spot. They take the path of least resistance. And what that means is that you're taking the shortest route from point A to point B. You don't, you completely direct, right? Like an arrow or a laser. So if you think about that, a lot of the times, people are going to run in predictable places because they're going, from point A to point B. And so you can know that the shortest distance, like from that container to this one, is the one that I just took, right? That was a distance-based thought. But if I was trying to be sneakier, I might, kind of slink around the bushes, get closer to different cover pieces as I go. So there's kind of the two different ways. So one is like a combat-driven one, and one is just a time-driven one. Combat-driven would be like staying close to cover. Time-driven would be I'm just trying to get in and get out as quick as I possibly can. And a lot of players they'll just like book it. 4 minutes here. So I'm trying to like calculate how much time I have to get to and from different areas. Where you'll struggle, or like as a beginning players, you won't know where everything is. So you waste a bit of time going from point A to point B, that distance thing we were talking about. And the problem with that is that you can't be as fast as I can potentially be, but that's fine. The way that I got to be this quick is because I've just done it a whole bunch of times. Like I know this map quite well. So we're gonna keep hitting these containers as we go. See if we can continuously improve our money output for our space. And what I'm doing now that my spaces are all full is what you would call min-maxing. Oh, you got your first midterm too? Yeah, this one is like I'm not worried about it at all, but it's like, I got a little bit of nerves. I just like, I want to do a good job. See, I'm min-maxing now. I'm going to start replacing items that are of lower value for items of higher value. Something I just did there without talking about it is I used my discard key, which I didn't leave on the delete key. That's the default bind. I rebound mine to Z so that it would be easy to do. So I discarded my helmet or my hat and I alt-clicked that helmet right there. I'm just going to be replacing all of my like raid stuff for profit stuff. He's got a mask. I think we can take the mask. He's got a gun. And a bag. Don't need anything. It's okay. I want the MP5. So So I just looked up at the time. We got just under 3 minutes. So if you ever think that having only 11 minutes in the raid is a bad thing, it's like, it depends on how much loot you know. If you don't know much loot, then yes, having less time is a bad thing. But if you know where a lot of the loot is, having less time is awesome. Because you just get to run around, collect loot, and get out. This means you're going to spend less time on your scav, which is awesome. You can take that profit, put it on your PMC in some way. You know, buying gear, using the gear, whatever. And like, you know, the key card's a bit of an exception here, so it's gonna be helping me with some of my... Oh, you scared me, sir. Oh boy, I almost had like a mini panic attack there. Let's get rid of the screwdriver. Oh, and there's BP rounds. What's this guy about? What you got? What you got? Show me your gear. Teabag. Shotgun. Oh, he's got a PKO6. Bye-bye, old shotgun. Hello, new shotgun. His friend knows. He has a friend. I'm just going to my extract now. So we don't get a lot of extra time with an 11-minute raid, but this is sweet. No, that was just an NPC. This is the awesome thing about, like, you know, low time scav raids too. We just get to come in, clean up some stuff. We don't have to worry about no player scavs. I mean, there'll be the occasional one, but the longer the raid goes on, the less we need to worry about that. You did so the NPC scavs, they'll do this wiggle. They'll like, whereas like a player, he'll go, you know. But the NPCs do wiggle. They did a good job with the NPCs. If you aim at them, they wiggle. Okay. Dude, I swear if you talk about them, they wiggle. If you want to see just about how much you made. So the game tells me that I made about 580k there. I can't confirm that one, Gap, but that's hilarious. Yeah, the scavs occasionally fool me real good. I've gotten spooked by them and shot one when I didn't mean to. Like when I was on a scav run, dude like just runs right up on you and I'm like, oh my god, and you know, freak out. So let's sell off the gear. So what I'll probably end up doing is a second scav run and just like I'll kind of like drill the profit thing in, talk a bit about the strategies. Feel free to ask questions if there's something you want to know. If you have something that's completely unrelated to scav runs, like you just want to talk about budget gear, you want to talk about other strats, feel free. You can totally ask whatever. And yeah, the AI is getting good, man. They're doing a good job with it. They'll probably keep making adjustments and making it better. I'm curious how much this sells. Someone told me that this is worth about 60k. 46, that's not bad. So if you know, that's something that some people will do is they won't check the trader. If I would have sold it to the flea market there, I would have paid a fee and I actually would have made less than I would have gotten from the trader. And I don't mess around with my sales on the flea market. I just get rid of stuff. I don't think that I need to like worry too much. And then, you know, min-max as much as you need. So you can min-max on the flea market. I tend to min-max my time really well. And this is another little thing. So like use your backpack as a way to manage your space. And if you're doing what I'm doing here, I'm just using the top of my inventory to help me manage through this quickly. So I control click my containers that have things in them, and I'll just control click so this all at the top of my stash. This is what I like to do, and you know how it's evolved over time. Most people will have some sort of strategy that works for them, but there's no like wrong way to do it. I just feel like this is a pretty efficient way, and that's what I'm generally going for. Why is a transformer bag selling for 20k? It's kind of weird, right? I guess there's just not many of them. Weird. I don't know. Are these part of some barter that I don't know about yet? So yeah, my main goal with selling stuff is just to like keep things moving. So like you can see here now, I have offers that were still like, you know, they were lowballed for the most part, but they're not moving quickly. So I'll go through and I'll organize some stuff. So the shotgun, we can take the PK off, take the Sprut off. This little thing right here, if you're brand new to the game and you're looking for you're looking for shotguns to trade in, which is, you know, this is the shotgun right here, the MP133. And then mechanic eventually has you build one, and you need to get this piece right here. So you need this little plastic piece on the end, and it, like, you know, you can find it all over the place if you know what to look for. But most people start looking for this once they need it, and that's like, you know, then you're never gonna find it. It feels like, anyways. So this part, you know, early on in the wipe is worth a lot on the flea market. Now, you know, worth a little bit. I wonder if it's even worth selling to the flea. Yeah. Okay. We'll just continue on. Used in a lavatory craft? I wouldn't be surprised, dude. I'll have the teabag. May as well have a little peek here. So my scav timer's only around like 15 minutes. Can I have a little look? Does it tell me? Scav cooldown. No, it's almost 20% less. Let's see with the lavatory. I don't know if this is true anymore or not, but I remember I was crafting things in my lavatory without power. Teabags? Anywhere in here? I know there's a whole bunch of bag trades in the lavatory now. By the way, the hideout will make you money. Especially the workbench. Workbench is like... It's crazy how much money this thing can make or save you, depending on how you want to approach it. So save you by crafting the ammo that you're going to use. You can use up old supplies. Same thing with the lavatory. And once you get a Bitcoin farm, you're just laughing. What do I want to do here? I think I want to craft some of these. 233. I mostly use my workbench as an ammo crafter, but I definitely do, like, you know, a fair bit of profit crafting in other areas. My whole hideout like pays for itself over and over and over again. You can always craft in the lavatory without power? Okay. Confirmed. What's the best stuff to search on customs for Salua? What's up, Chad? How you doing, dude? I can point out the areas on the map while I wait for some of the things to go. So I'm gonna go to my favorite map site, which is MapGenie. Mapgenie.io, not .com or .ca, mapgenie.io. And then /Tarkov, he's got maps for a whole bunch of stuff. If you get here for the first time, you're gonna be like, well, it's a lot of stuff. So I'm just gonna hit hide all. And then now what I'm gonna open up are, I want jackets and maybe, actually what, here, hold on a second. I need to see what they show as one of these items. Okay, so keys. So I want, oddly, I want keys turned on. And then I also want med bags. Meds. Okay, so if you can, like, hopefully me being zoomed out this much will, like, help you to understand where we're looking, right? So this is ZB 101, 1011. We got admin gate, factory far corner, so hopefully you got that down. This is checkpoint right here. So this is where that sniper scav sits. And there's a blue car right here that spawns the dorm room on 14 key, but it spawns meds like Saluas quite often. So that's one great place to get it. And then there's a med box right up here. So up in the trees, in this tower right here, there's a med box right here. It's a med case. Okay, so that's another spot. I'm just showing you the ones that I like to go to. You can find Saluas in any weapons case too, so always search them whenever you find them. There's some stuff down here, but I'm going to keep you away from the busy area of the map. I'm going to take you over here. So there's a med bag in this little area right here. This one's in the back of a car, so it's an actual med bag. It's a good spot. There's a med bag right here, which is like in, so this is big red, med bag right here. And then you see these two little huts. Saluas spawn in this hut right here, just like in the corner on a table. I'll try and show you if I can whenever we get into a game. But I would say, like, you know, those are the spots. So if we take a little bit of an aerial position here. So you got med box down here, med here, one that's not listed that I just told you about right there. And if we jump over on the other side of the map, we got a med thing over here. Happens to be a key spawn. I have those turned on. Med at checkpoint. So in the back of the car, they spawn often. And then, you know, you can find them all around everywhere. But those are the spots on customs that I find them like reliably. Yo, what's up, Velocity? How you doing? Yeah, this website's great. And the guy that makes these maps is awesome. I submit feedback and I submit suggestions and new locations all the time. And you can, yeah, the only map that's not available to you right now is Reserve. If you subscribe to them or whatever, not subscribe, sorry, if you can pay $10 to the service to unlock the pro version, which I did. And, you know, I'm not logged in right now, but it lets me access that. And it's got some other unique things, but you don't need to pay for anything on this one. And it's just like, it's a good map. The scaling is done really well. Oh yeah, this is another good one right here. So in the bottom right, I'm going to click on this little circle thing. And we got a rangefinder. So if you're doing your shooter born in heaven, or you just want to know, like, you know, so these rocks are pretty common, right? People are always sitting up here. So if you want to see, like, where's the 100-meter mark? Now we can get a sense. So anyone that's down here by the car, that's just over 100 meters. You can, you know, pick your spots. So that's that little rangefinder, and then just the interactive map in itself is awesome. How do I clear you? I don't even remember. Not clicking it would clear it. Oh, clear target. There we go. So yeah, that's Map Genie. I found these maps a while ago, and I prefer them. I know some people like other styles of maps. And this one's going to throw you for a bit of a loop, but these maps are actually all upside down. And that's mostly BSG's fault. After they added in the compass, we started figuring out that this isn't north, this is actually south. Which, like, you know, that's... It throws your mind for a loop. There was no north, south, east, west orientation on here, but most people call these things, like, you know, by... Like, the dorms are to the north, and the construction areas to the south. It's actually the opposite. I got in late. What's your main focuses for this stream? What are you trying to find most of? Is it Tane? I'm just doing more of my customs loot runs. We just finished one a little bit ago, and then I was answering some questions about where you can find Saluis. So we're doing profit stuff that beginners could follow for this stream. I was planning to do some reserve work, but I do want to. I'm just gonna put this back on because I don't care about going through the hassle. I was planning on doing some reserve map learning stuff, but I need to buckle down and study for some tests this week, so I'm gonna get to that the following week. So not this Tuesday coming up. I'll probably do some more of the same, and then the following week I'm gonna start doing the live stream versions of my map guide. And I did this with a customs one way long ago on Twitch, where basically the content that goes into the video, I start practicing it on stream, and I go through, I do the run, I talk my way through it like I would in the video, without the mini map, of course. And so that's coming up soon. And then yeah, like one of my goals with doing content here for these live streams is I want to be able to, one, make something that doesn't take me 40 hours to make, because that's what those video guides do. And this I find, you know, I'm trying to show an approachable way for people to get over one of the hardest difficulties in Tarkov, and that's like generating profit, getting out of the maps consistently. You know, on your PMC is a different ball game, and I'll do a little bit of that too. Can I sell some stuff, please? All right, so I'm just gonna organize a few more things here. What else do I need? So that's Scav run was nice. We lucked out with a couple of things. The key card was definitely like a big one, but you know, everything else is worth a decent amount. Oh, I thought I was gonna... I'm running out of space. It's a good problem, right? Let's put you on there. So all the stuff that I'm planning on keeping, I'm basically just gonna put on my character. I don't need a flash drive, but I think I can turn it into something. We're gonna keep you. I think everything else can go as it will be available. So yeah, as soon as my Scav timer's up, I'm gonna go hop in again and we'll do the same thing. Show the monies. We got room? Okay, we're good. I find more reserve more brutal as a Scav. Me too. Once you know any map, they get a lot easier. Oh, and if you're trying to figure out how to level up Jaeger and you're just perplexed by the whole idea, he pays the same amount for a lot of goods as Therapist does. So I sell whatever I can that's like high value. There's certain loot items like this cyclone here is the same on the flea as it is to the traders. So you could actually buy this cyclone for 49, come out and sell it to Jaeger. You make a small profit and you're leveling up your rep, or not your rep, but your amount sold with him. That's always really nice. And yeah, Jersane, the compass thing was kind of weird. I mean, to you, learning the maps now probably makes no difference, but you are looking at them upside down. So anytime you look at a map resource, that is kind of weird. Okay, nothing's moving anymore. What's the problem here? Let's move you. Shotgun. Let's get rid of you. I think these shotguns will go pretty quickly, especially since mine has that part on it. This guy sold his with a light too. Dang, these guys are ballers. Antique axe is a good one. Yo, what's up, Aiden? Antique axe is a good one. There's a whole bunch of loot that you can buy and sell over to him. I think condensed milk, green batteries. They're like those green rechargeable batteries. It's just a ton that you can move through Jaeger, and just like you could consistently buy it off the flea market and then sell it back. If you're ever trying to level up Peacekeeper, let's see if these items have come down. So not these anymore, but these used to be one of the ways. They're a new barter item now, or not new, but like they're being used. So diaries is one way that I level up Peacekeeper, and then these SSDs. Don't forget to turn off barters. So I just clicked on the cogwheel, remove all barter offers. Barters are not going to do you any good. So these two items here, so if we look at it, right, 32,333. So if we paid 32,300 for it, and we'll buy that one. We go to sell it to Peacekeeper. So he's given $312 worth of value, right? Oh, we need to click sell. And now if I go to buy $312, so I'm showing you why this is a good way to do it. So to buy $312 would be 39,000. So you're making a better exchange rate on dollars. And if you're like, oh, but I don't use dollars yet, don't worry, you will in the future, either for a task or you'll start buying, some of the gear. Like, the MPX is awesome, MP5 is awesome. As you get to Peacekeeper level 2, the M80 round is great. You'll have Peacekeeper level 3, get a lot of really good stuff. Like this round is awesome. My favorite grip comes at level 3. Not level 3, sorry. Yeah, my grip. So it's this guy right here. It's the Magpul RVG. There's like a ton of good stuff that you can get from Peacekeeper later on for dollars. So if at first you feel like you're just wasting your money, like, don't worry, you'll get it back. I'm just trying to move some of this stuff, and then we're gonna go get into a scabby boy again. I think my timer's almost up. It is. Okay. So I'm just gonna put a bunch of stuff on my character, and then we'll go back in. I'm curious to see what this timer is gonna do this time. Actually, we're just gonna sell you. Ooh. Ready, set, go. So I just want to make sure that I have enough room to, like, get stuff off of my Scav if I need to. We're looking good. I'm being really stingy with my BlackRock vests. I want to use them, but I'm gonna need to move on soon and just start selling stuff. That's something else you'll run into too. You're like, your brain's always gonna be like, oh, but I want the most profit. But sometimes it's just worth it to just get rid of the stuff, to sell it, and like have the peace of mind of the space in your inventory. I hate it when my stash is completely full. Yeah, Aiden's got a good point there. Antique axe is 52k and you can sell for 56. There's a ton of items that you can do that with. You can make profit just by like buying and selling stuff. Keys are often like that too with therapists. You buy keys, like people will sell it because people don't check the price, right? They just see what the last person was selling for, and the number will just keep getting driven down and down and down. And some people that are trying to make like easy money they'll like wish list all of that stuff, and then you buy everything whenever it's below the trader sale value, buy it off the flea market, and then sell it to the traders, and you just keep doing that. You're not gonna make crazy amounts of money, but it's easy money. And I do have Bitcoin, yeah. See you later, Mad Milla. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, doing reserve runs is a very profitable way to play the game, especially on Scav. But I find that if you're new to the game, like reserve really isn't an accessible level for you yet. Because if you start learning reserve off the beginning, you're not going to have the knowledge to do the levels you need for tasks. So, a ton of customs, you're going to end up on shoreline, interchange, all those places. You don't end up on reserve until way later. So I find that reserve's a really tough map to want to approach, but it is by far one of the highest profit maps that you can play. And yeah, totally understand, Jerzane. The level 1 stash is brutal. But it just means that you can't hoard stuff, right? You keep 3 or 4 guns. Mostly keep money. and then work towards cases. So always cases, right? Get your ammo case first, you get your Scav junk box second. I always get my ammo case first because I find those powders and trade them into a mechanic. But yeah, the Scav junk box is huge. Oh yeah, so I wanted to check and see how much time we got here. Okay, so I have 18 minutes. Myth busted. Someone said that you only will end up with like 11 to 13 minutes now in Scav runs. And 18 minutes is plenty. So first thing first, I get into a concealed area and check my loadout. And I reorganize my inventory. So I'm going to hotkey my meds, hold my mouse over the Esmarch, which cures heavy bleeds. You can see that right down here in the bottom right. I just double clicked it. And I like to put my heavy bleed on my key number 4 and then my HP heals on key number 5. And I do this every single time. So if you haven't quite figured out what you like to do for your med binds yet, do something and then keep doing it over and over again and see how it works for you. Oh, and I have a light bandage too. The rest of this stuff here, I like to put 1 square items in 1 square spaces. So I'm just going to put this condensed milk up there. And we'll put, actually, you know what? I'm going to put this up here. Just in case someone gets me. He's less likely to search my vest. How do you easily get boxes? So there's a lot of them that are unlocked as you level up. You do get some from quests. And then there's a lot of barters that you get tied in with that leveling up. So quests from leveling up, barters from leveling up, and then the flea markets sometimes. I don't really like buying them off of flea market too much. And then you can craft a few different containers. You can craft a mag box. You can craft the Scav case. So that's all in the lavatory. So you save a lot of money by leveling up your hideout. If you haven't started doing that, I would just slowly be collecting the gear to do so. So we've got our meds all hotkeyed. See that I have a Keter. I'm going to want to check my fire mode. I know that this gun is capable of full auto, so I check that. And then the last thing I always like to do is check my ammo. And if you don't know the ammo penetration values off by heart, you're going to want to find out what your ammo is and then check it on an ammo chart. And if you want like a really quick crash tutorial, so I'm going to Google Tarkov no food after midnight ammo chart. So no food after midnight is the name of a person that does this. We got one of their ammo charts here, and I'm gonna show you how to make this not seem so confusing, because right now it looks really confusing, right? So let's just pull this up. So I'm gonna tell you what you can ignore. You can basically ignore all of this information. All you need are these 2 columns right here. These 2 columns right here, and then you need to know what kind of ammo you got. So if we look at our ammo, so I have 9x18 PM 9P GZH. So we go to the 9x18 category, and we have the PGZH. So what this says The first column's damage, the second column's pen. So this does 50 damage a bullet, and it can pen at 5. And if you don't know how pen works, basically you need 10 penetration to reliably pen 1 class of armor. So I'm less than class 1 penetration, which means that I need to aim for their legs or their face. They can't have anything blocking, or these things will literally be like BBs. You could put 60 bullets into someone's center mass with class 4 armor, and they will absorb all of them. You're not going to do anything to them. So whenever you're like, I just shot that guy so many times, like, why isn't he dying? It's because of the pen value of your ammo. The pen is the most important thing about ammo that you need to understand. So yes, I need to shoot someone in the face. Got some NPC scavs running around here. I'm going to take inventory of where they are, and oh yeah, and I'm going to check my extracts. So I got passage between rocks and crossroads. More than likely I'll go to passage between rocks. And I'm going to start figuring out how many scavs are around. I think there's a lot. One, because I want better inventory space, and I want better weapons. So we got one dude right there. We got one dude down here somewhere. Before you start killing scavs, you may as well take, like, you know, kind of an inventory of your area. You want to see, if you get into a fight, like, how many of these guys are you going to have to deal with. I'm just going to leave those pliers. They're worth taking. There's some barters and some good stuff you can do with them, but... So this guy's got a nice vest. Gonna get rid of you. So I'm using alt-click there. Really important. I'm gonna get off this body. Get into a concealed area, and then reorganize my inventory. So my main goal is just to get away from being in a vulnerable spot. Now we've got a slightly better weapon. Again, I'm going to check my fire mode. So it's in full auto. I'm going to check my ammo. So same thing. In my opinion, interchange is the big moneymaker. It's definitely a really good one, man. I find that customs can be more consistent as a scav, but you can make a ton of money on interchange. Both maps are great. I have nothing bad to say about interchange. It's one of my favorites, if not my favorite map, because of how dynamic it is. Hey, yeah, well, thanks for saying so, Kobe. I remember I saw you in the comments there. Appreciate you letting me know you found it helpful. I would like to make that style or that, like, quality of a guide for every map, and that's you know, it's a goal of mine right now. I'm just trying to find the time to do so. That's sweet, dude. It makes a big difference when you start to get a firm understanding of the maps. So what I'm doing now is I'm running from loot cache to loot cache. I've memorized where all of these are. There's 2 different kinds. I just looted a barrel cache. This is a ground cache. And I in an offline raid went around and learned where all these were. So in my inventory, I'm making sure that I have enough room to reload. If I reload my AK, it's going to fill this spot, and then it's going to reload one of the new spots. So I'm just making sure that I I have that space. So I'm going to try and leave at least a 1x2 space in my rig. Oh, this is nice. We can't even take it. So if my backpack was big enough, I would take this rig. Someone would have found a rig in here and then grabbed that. That's one of the best ways that you can increase your profit in a raid too, is by getting a rig inside your backpack. Because you essentially expand the total space of your backpack while also having the value of the rig. So that should be, like, I'd say pretty high up there in terms of what you're looking for in a raid. No matter what, like if you're on your PMC or your scav, that would apply to both. There's a weight consideration that ends up happening, because your character will inevitably get overweight. And then, you know, if you're like, oh, but now I won't have room for all the other sweet loot. If you haven't learned already, most of the sweet loot are 1 and 2 square items. The 1 and 2 square items in the game hold pretty much the highest value. There are a few exceptions, but like stock weaponry is not that worth taking out in your backpack. While it's equipped, it is. When you put it in your backpack, you're taking up a lot of space to get out a weapon that you could potentially buy on the flea market. Now, that being said, if you're under level 10 and you don't have access to those things, then taking something out in your backpack is worth a different amount to you. What's homie doing down here? Is he angry with me? Trying to see if he's got a backpack. He does not. Oh, no. No. Please. Oh. Please. Oh, God. I don't need to fight him. He's not going to give me much. I do need to get away from that dude. So that's scav aggro right there. If you kill one, and then the ones in the area, they'll all be angry at you. So if I get far enough away from the one that I killed, it won't be like that anymore. I got a bigger backpack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my bag. So I discard and put his rig inside here. I'm going to alt-click that. Alt-click, alt-click. We're going to get rid of the little gun. I'm going to take the Vepr, grab that, so control-click. Get the heck off the body. And into some sort of concealment. Yeah, run! Always. So now that we're here, I'll like organize again. Check and see what's going on. I'm just going to get rid of those ones. So I held my mouse over them, hit my discard key. Looked up at the top. I see I have less than 10 minutes left. That's totally fine. And I'm going to strategically place the higher value items in here. So I want the 2 square items into 2 square spaces and 1 square items into 1 square spaces. Because if I end up like this, I'm going to have to come in and organize my loot as I'm going. So I just want to pre-organize it so that I'm like ready. These bullets I know I won't need. I'm going to keep the bandages just in case, but they'll be one of the first things I get rid of. And I can't remember how much these pliers are worth. So I'm actually going to take them out just because I don't remember. And that's a good practice for you too, that if you don't know how much something's worth, you probably are like, you know, it's worth understanding loot over time. Oh, we see a dude booking it. I normally don't try and go after anybody, but we're in kind of a good situation here. So he's moving right to left. He's going to be potentially up in front of us. So I'm not going to like directly chase after him, but I'm going to go into a spot where I might be able to ambush him. And it's also like, it serves my objective here, which was to check this box. You can see a lot of my stuff was looted. So that guy, we're assuming is a player scav. He may have a nice big backpack full of loot, and he very well may be heading to either military or so railroad extract. He may be heading to Passage Between Rocks, which is where we're going. He may be heading to Admin Gate, and all of those places I can cut him off right around here. So we're gonna see. I don't have a ton of time, so I'm not going to wait too long. I don't think he's coming. That's okay. There's a pipe dream. Unless he's like super overweight, he could still be over that way. Cool. Just got spooked. Still get jumpy in Tarkov. It is super time consuming editing videos, at least like doing it well. Thanks for acknowledging that. I would love to figure out how to do it quicker and quicker and quicker over time. Hopefully I will. Helmet! Your streams get me in the mood to play Tarkov? Excellent. Have you figured out your crashing issue yet, Gat? So I'm just going back into loot mode. Not going to worry too much about that dude. I'm going to take care of myself. I can fill my bags with all these little containers. These drills not worth that much. We'll grab it anyway. So that guy could still run up on me. I'll have to, you know, be ready to fight. Who knows where he's going? I was going to try and shoot at him as I saw him at the beginning. And he made a really weird, like, stop maneuver. I'm just going to kind of organize as I go here. I have no idea how much that's worth. Those are good. And so, like, you know, an easy run. I'm not fighting really anyone. I stumbled on one dude with a backpack, which is awesome. And, you know, that'll happen to you too. But for the most part, I'm trying to keep hitting these loot caches. This is all easy money. I'm gonna get rid of one bandage. Grab that. Put there. I'm gonna take these for now, but don't ever take out a headset that's not on your head. Especially if you have access to the flea market. The only exception would be if you don't. And even then, like, those other headsets are, you know, you can get the GSSH, the one that we just picked up, for pretty cheap. And I'll explain why. So if the situation was different, and we had this one on our head and this one in our container, so just like this. So those tactical headphones, those tac sport ones, I think they go for about 28K. Let's say 28. So they take up 4 slots in my inventory. That means that they're worth 7,000 rubles per square. So I just divide the total by the amount of squares it takes up. So it's not really worth it when it's on my person, and even less so with these headphones. So these ones are worth like, what, 10K or something like that? 12K? So divide that by 4 and we're getting really low. So we hear some gunfire. This could be our scav dude. We still might be able to cut him off. We would get a whole pile of loot. I think my extract is passage between rocks, so I've kind of gone a little too far here. So that's an NPC. Now they really are in different places, hey? That's cool. Alright, so I gotta go to my extract now. I'm gonna hit this little cache right here. Anyway, if you don't have stuff for your space, like, by all means fill it up. But if you're carrying out a headset over like nuts and bolts and nails and whatever else, like you might not understand yet that those little 1 square item loots that, you know, you haven't played with that much, those things are worth a lot. Like bolts, if you ever see bolts, gobble those up and don't ever leave them behind. Bolts are worth like 40,000 or more. Oh, did I just see him? I don't really have that much time to do anything about it if I do see a dude. When you wiped your PC, it fixed itself. That's awesome, Gat. Hooray. Alright, I'm just trying to like get the last few bucks out of this raid. Not gonna get anything more. Let's see how I did. We'll be able to get a good sense of it as we get to the end here. When you have lots of tabs open, it lags rather than crash. I guess that might be like a better reflection of your RAM. So even here, we're still making 400K. We found a backpack, which was pretty good, so we stumbled across a dude. But I think, like, you know, on average, you should be able to make pretty high money. And like, you just need to know the loot. I think that's the part that will elude you in the beginning if you're struggling with making money in Tarkov. You just don't, like, you might be taking out junk. and as long as you start remembering what stuff's junk, you'll do all right. Yeah, what's up, Cajun? I survived a PMC raid. Oh, that's so good to hear, dude. Been getting way better at surviving and picking proper fights. I'm glad to hear it, man. What was it that like clicked for you? How are you surviving more? Share with us. What have you learned? So I'm just gonna get some stuff here, trying to sell right away. I'm not even gonna worry about taking mags out to try and get more money for some of these things. That's what I would do though if I was you. You know, may as well get your extra money for the mag and everything. For this, I'm just gonna put, yeah. Okay. All right, Stash, you and I are at war. So I'm gonna put it in my inventory, control click everything to get it off my character, or get it out of the container rather. Let's see here. These guys are selling, I think I can get about 45k for this boy. And now, let's put that down. So I want to get the backpack off of out of my stash so I can empty it. And now I'm gonna take my backpack, so this one down here, and I would, like, you know, if I didn't have this case, this would just be a stack of backpacks sitting right here. I put my old ones inside the new one, and then I put the new stack down there. So it always goes the old ones into the new one, and then the new one would go back. That's how I quickly move those. I'm gonna play like a quick PMC raid. I got time for one more here. These little rigs are awesome. If you ever find them, they've got a lot of space, and that's not that expensive. So these, I think, have double the space. Oh, not quite. So 16 spaces, and it's a 9 square item. The best one, if you're struggling for space and you've got access to the flea market, or you just find these are the ones right here. The Velocity Systems Multi-Purpose Patrol Vest. So they take up 3x4, so 12 squares, and then they have 24 squares inside of them. So I always end up using a couple of these to help me fill up my inventory. And in the very beginning, this is what I do. Like I just get tons and tons of rigs as I find them. You know, I'm always looking for Black Rocks, these MPPVs. So if you're someone that's got a low level of stash space, and like you don't have containers but you do have access to the flea market, buy a couple of these. You'd be like, oh, it's like 40k, but like the extra space is worth the 40k, and then you can just use the rig later on. You know, once you've actually gotten the space. So I'm just going to try and trim a little bit of my inventory here. I don't know. Does Ragman pay for these? Oh, see, this is interesting right here, right? So they're below 24k. They're below what Ragman pays. If you wanted to level up Ragman, you could buy some of these. It's called Gearcraft GC. I think this is one of the newer rigs in the game. So we're just going to sell there. Glad I checked. I'm going to check what this little helmet thing does. So it sells to Ragman for 37. If I put it on the market, so this is another thing that's good to know, right? So if we click on this guy, I want to see what it is with fees. So if I even sell this for 4,000, I'm getting like 3,400 in profit, 34.7. So I'm just going to sell it to Ragman. So there's a lot of stuff that you may be losing money on by selling it on the flea market. So just be mindful, you know, sleuth around, check the traders. This is the part that some people really hate, the whole like inventory management thing at the end, and I totally get it. All right, so we're gonna do raid. I want to use a gun and a kit that's approachable for newer players, so I'm gonna get rid of this Vector. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. So just bear with me for a moment. Set this up, and then we'll go. What I'm probably going to use is just like a little MP5. I think I've got a... I'll even use one without a sight. I did this last stream, I think. This is quite reflective of what you'll see for your own situation. Oh, we even got 3 mags. Nice. You have a bullet in the chamber? You do not. I'm just going to unload my ammo there. I'm going to stack up some ammo, put one in the chamber. Do I have the cheap ammo? Get rid of you. Put you on. Put you in there. Do I have more of you? Why do I have so much of this ammo? Oh, it's taking it out of there. Okay. That makes sense. I don't usually keep this ammo around. So let's just buy 70, not 700 rounds. I might end up needing to buy a little bit more here. So you, and I'm gonna buy 31 more. This is like, you know, one of the entry-level guns that you could end up having. I'll even... So I'm gonna use my like classic low-level armor. I'm actually just gonna get rid of this. Bye-bye. So my favorite leveling armor, if you're trying to be cheap, come to the flea market, type in Zuck, Z-H-U-K, or Z-H-U-K, whatever you say. We're looking for Zuck 3. So you're going to see two. One of them you're going to be like, oh, that's a lot of money. The other one you're going to be like, oh, that's not so bad. So I'm trying to find one here. 42 out of 50. This looks good. So you're going to pay around 30K for it. And when I repair these, so if it's like, you know, it's missing 8 hit points right here and it's going to cost 2,000. This is the like one of the few times I'll use mechanic. So I pay more and I get less. But normally I just do like proper repairing this dude. So we're going to grab that. Actually, I'm going to bring my Mosin because I need some Mosin kills. I'm going to bring this SMP ammo because I have it. I am not going to take that rig into the raid. What am I doing with you? Oh, actually, we have this kind of Mosin gear. Nice. Okay. I need to get rid of this backpack. I'm like having a little bit of a stash crisis. Trying to think of the fastest way to remedy it. You. Okay. Closer. What I need is enough space to put this tri-zip down. It would be easy if I could just take, you know, whatever amount of time. Okay, sweet. Let's put you rig. So what I'm gonna do is like basically a loot style run. So we're gonna keep it really chill. And I'm gonna use lower level gear so that you can definitely like, you know, see what I'm doing as though I'm playing as like a kind of a lower level. So this would be, you have access to the flea market. You've done maybe the knife trade. So you can ignore the Mosin. The Mosin's just extra. I'm doing it for tasks. I've done the knife trade for the MP5, which you can get at Peacekeeper, level 1. So you trade in these brown handle knives. And by the way, if you haven't started doing this yet, you might notice that I don't have a knife in my scabbard slot. And I do this because when I'm in raid, if I find a knife or some valuable, and like if you find an antique axe, you grab that because it's worth a lot of money. But even just those brown handle knives, I'll just put, you know, I'll pick one up off of a scav and then I get to take it out. I don't have to worry about dropping my own. And you don't need a knife most of the time when you're playing. So level 10, you've got, you know, this basic gear right here. Zuck 3 armor, it's not expensive. You got this basic helmet. You've got the basic headset. You've got an MP5. You bought 2 mags. And I think you might unlock these at some point from level 1 Peacekeeper. But here you go. So we got some 30 round mags. We've just got 2 backups. That's okay. Meds. We'll get rid of the Salul. So I'll just bring in a car and I'll bring in tourniquet. I'm going to bring in my army bandage, so I'm going to be a little bit better than what you might have access to. I'm going to bring a couple of grenades. And for the rig, like obviously I'm carrying more stuff than you might, but you don't need anything fancy. Just buy this level 1 rig right here, the bank robber. You'll have 4 1x2 slots. So you just have these top 4. And this is what you would do right here, right? You wouldn't have the extra things going on. You'd keep your ammo right here. And maybe you would make space, like, what could you do? You could put this AI2 in your backpack if you wanted to have the extra. And I do want to have a little bit extra. And you just put like one grenade in your pockets, and that would be fine. But I have some extra space, so I'm going to do this. Just a little bit extra, you know. If you wanted to get a slightly upgraded rig, one that's a little bit better than that one that I just showed you from Ragman, just come into the flea market, type in war, and what we're looking for is this cheap war tech rig right here. So this is actually the same price. It goes down to the same price as the Ragman one, and it's got a 2x2 square, so it's got just that little bit of extra room. I actually like the Tetris thing too, Jerzane. I was always told to avoid the press armor like the plague until I found channels like Jets here. Oh, well, there you go. See, it is underrated armor. When you have press armor, treat yourself like you're playing as a scav. If you think like I'm playing a scav, then that means that you need to avoid those fights where you're just gonna trade bullets. So if you're wearing tier 3 or lower, even tier 4 for the most part, like I would say a lot of the time you're playing ambush tactics. So you gotta like really pick your fights and sometimes avoid fights. And that's fine, right? Like when you're lower level, that's just the reality of the game, especially since you're mixing with people that could be running, you know, they could be running this big, you know, killa armor, so tier 5 armor, and they've got an Alton helmet on. You see this dude running into you, you're like, all right, well, I'm dead. So if he runs you over and you've got this kit, then yeah, you're probably going to die. Unless you get a lucky shot on his face that somehow goes through his thing, or you shoot him in the legs, like, you know. So there's definitely some ways to get around it. But for the most part, I'm going to be avoiding those kinds of people. And this is just cheap, good armor. But yeah, like I call it my juiced scav loadout. So I've got all the right meds to take care of myself. I've got extra ammo. And you can ignore this little green stim. I'm not even going to use it. I'll just leave it back here. But I always bring, you know, an alu splint. If you don't have an alu splint, you can substitute in, just take 2 regular splints. I bring one, you know, for the inevitable time where you can have a leg broken, and you want to have probably a second one. You might not have Vaseline in your gamma container. That doesn't matter. I'm not going to use it all the time, so I'll try and represent what that looks like. And then I do like to have the CMS. So you know, you'd imagine this is maybe what your kit looks like here. You have one backup IFAK because you found one somewhere. You have your CMS to repair black limbs. If you don't have the CMS, it's like, you know, whatever. Once you have a blacked out limb, you need to just make sure you're exiting the raid. That's what the CMS provides for you. You don't need to leave the raid right away. I think we're good. So this, like, what I'm about to do isn't always going to be successful. Sometimes I'm going to get bopped, and that is the cold hard reality. Always ensure your gear. You don't do that yet. Always, always, always. Yeah, when you're broke and when you're new, so there's 2 reasons why you would use the gear that I'm doing. So you're new, actually 3, sorry. You're new, you're broke, or you're learning and you understand that you're going to die more often, because you don't need good gear to win a raid. You need to play smart. You could go into the raid with nothing, and you can come out with a whole bunch of stuff if you played intelligently. And that might mean avoiding a fight. That might mean ambushing someone, you know, creeping around in bushes and wait until someone walks by you. There's no real honor in Tarkov. When people get upset and you see posts where they're like, oh, I can't believe this guy bush camped me and blah, 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 blah. Well, like, idiot, why didn't you check the bush? Or when you heard the rustling of the leaves, you know, why didn't you do something about it, right? So respect your gear, play within your own limitations. And I liked this armor while I was learning the maps because, you know, I'd still get scav kills. This will protect you from scavs, but it's not going to protect you against the dude with the super juiced out gun and the super crazy ammo. But neither will a tier 4 vest, and most often a tier 5 vest isn't going to do you any better either. You might survive 1 extra bullet, but that guy's going to put 6 of them on you. So I think it's a bit of a fallacy that you need to have good gear in order to win in Tarkov, or that like certain gear isn't good. But that being said, you know, like a P.A.K.A., most people would tell you like, don't bother wearing a P.A.K.A. And I would agree unless you have nothing else. but a P.A.K.A. being a tier 2 armor is only going to stop certain bullets. Like that Keter that I had the other game on my Scav. You know, the P.A.K.A. would help against that, or against some Scavs, but some Scav ammo will go right through your P.A.K.A. That's why people will say. So yeah, the press armor, I played an entire wipe with press armor in this helmet. And I was stinking rich. Like I had 200 million by the end of it. With a 60% survival rate too, I'm pretty sure. But I played like I needed to with that kind of a loadout. I didn't run around like a maniac all the time. I picked my spots. I certainly had plenty of kills. I had plenty of experience. I had plenty of money. I had, you know, everything that made the game fun for me. The only thing that I could have done differently, like looking back on it now, and I was just too afraid to do it, is I could have spent more money on, like, started upgrading my loadouts, because I could afford to. But I was happy playing with my, like, crappy gear, and I just didn't, like, I never once tried to play outside of my skill level, because I found that, like, when I was first learning, I would spend a whole bunch of money and I'd buy like the juice kit, I'd buy the Alton, I'd deck out an M4, I'd get all of those things, and I'd go into a raid and I would run out like an idiot and I would die thinking that I could tank everything. And you can't. Like, the Alton will help you, and so will all that high level armor, but the reality is, like, most of us are still gonna die just the same. Thanks, Cajun. It's just a different style, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with how the other people play the game, but if you're trying to learn from them, then yes, it is very hard. It's not approachable, and that's, I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to try and play like that, but I understand that most people cannot. Even someone that's really damn good at other games, like if your aiming is just nuts, you can't, you just can't, like, you can't bulldoze your way through Tarkov. And that's where, like, you know, my target content is. Like, I love teaching, and I'm like, well, I can approach a player base that needs this kind of support and guidance, and like I can deliver this in abundance. I could go up to the higher level too, but I think that I think there's more people that really struggle at Tarkov than people that are good at Tarkov, you know? See you later, Jerzane. Thanks for stopping in, dude. So I'm just chilling here. I just heard running. Or maybe I heard a gunshot, I don't know. This is one of my favorite areas to start. Not specifically where we loaded in right here, but I love these containers. It allows me to, like, open up the map pretty chill. I can just walk around, collect loot. Because, like, the reality is the first 10 minutes are hard in Tarkov. And the more exposed you make yourself at the beginning, the harder it is to play. So, like, what you suffer from in the beginning is a total lack of awareness. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, like, it's the reality, right? You don't know the map. You don't know the way the players move and everything. So you need to make yourself less vulnerable in the beginning. And the reason why a lot of players can play quite quickly in the game is because they just know the whole map. They know where players are coming from. They can anticipate so much. You think he's got a friend? Twitch streamers are like the 5%. It's probably less, man. Probably the 1% dude. Yo, what's up? It's JB. How you doing, dude? I've been debating getting this game. It's pretty intimidating because of how difficult it is. So JB, I would say that, like, if you're gonna consider it, yes, it is difficult, but like find some buds that you can play with, or some like approachable content to learn from. And then, like, you know, if you think the game seems cool, like, decide what's cool about it. But if it's the difficulty that's worrying you, Tarkov is a knowledge game. So as long as you have time to play, you can overcome all of those obstacles. But there's a lot of stuff that you need to do in Tarkov before the game starts, like, getting more and more fun. So you have, like, a lot of really cool moments as a new player, but the game opens up so much once you've spent time in the maps, and the maps are so big, dude. It's super, super fun. I definitely recommend it. And I feel like we're in a bit of a game drought right now. And yeah, whenever you make the play, like, oh my god. So JB, whenever you make the kill happen, you make this, you set up this play, you execute it, everything comes together, and you're like, oh my god, Tarkov is so much fun. Like, the rush that this game provides is just, it's second to none. I think that's why a lot of us play Tarkov. It can be punishing, but I think, yeah, like, if you have the right approach, Tarkov can be a lot easier to get into. Which is, like, you know, kind of one of the things that I like showing people with how I play, is how to get into Tarkov. So I'd be happy to show you some of the way, dude. I'm not convinced this guy doesn't have a friend. It doesn't seem like it. You'll notice too that after I killed that dude, I didn't just go running up to his body to go loot. I still might die doing this. I don't know. Level 6. Sorry, bruh. This poor guy. He's got chewed up and spit out. Let's see here. He was doing the same thing that I was doing. That guy probably had a Salua in his safe container. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all this stuff over into his rig. And we're going to get rid of you. And then we're going to drop that. I'm going to pick up this stuff. Cool. Let's try and get rid of some of this junk. Remember to rebind my med. Got our grenades. So what I've done now is I've taken my insured rig. So this is insurance fraud. I talk about this a lot. I've taken my rig and I've put it somewhere where I think people are less likely to grab it. I'm going to go over and grab my helmet and hide it a little bit better. And now I've got his rig on my person, which is great because if I die, then I'm only losing his. And if I get out, then, you know, I'll get this other rig more than likely back in insurance. It's possible that someone picks it up. The only alternative to the strategy I'm employing there with the rig is that I'd keep another one to expand the space in my backpack. But I'm planning on finding another rig in the raid at some point. Well, you know what? We're taking his glasses too. I'll just leave mine though. Seems like the honorable thing to do, right? Put the helmet in the back of the car. Yeah, rip Timmy, dude. That poor guy. Yeah, I'll see you later, Kobe. Thanks for saying hi, man. All right, Siri. That's enough. JB, if you're on the fence about the game, they do have sales for Tarkov. So you could save yourself a little bit of dough and do that. There are some streams that do trial key giveaways too. So that might be a neat way to experience it, but like, I don't know. I'd say the base game's $40. I would totally do it. And if you've got some buddies to play with, that would help immensely. If you don't have any buddies to play with, that's cool. But what you could do is get set up in the official Discord. And there's even a Discord that is dedicated to helping new players learn too. So there's a lot of ways you can get into the game, make it a little more approachable. Remove mag from the SMG? Oh, you mean from this one? Or just reload my mag? What I am going to do is reload my Mosin. Oh, you already own it. I see. Well then, yeah, dude. Well, if you ever have any questions, man, just stop in. Be like, I wanna know what to learn next, and I can give you essentially like a step-by-step process or order that you could follow to get yourself into it. I focused a lot on that early on. By the way, this spot was shared by someone that stopped in a stream the other day. So like right here by this tower, apparently like a Tetris can spawn right there. Yo, what's up, Squat? Why, if it isn't Evil Jet? It's me. I'm here a little bit later than I planned to be. I figured an hour and a half, 2 hour, to like just under 2 hours was okay today. All right, it's time to go to the other side of the map. And the reason why I'm doing this, just reloading a Mosin, is because I need to level up my sniper skill, and this is one of the cheesy ways to do it. Show me the way. It would help to have some context about like what you do know, because I think the first things that any new player needs to get is like, one, there's a whole bunch of mechanics stuff that starts off where you're like, okay, you know, this is a lot. You know, things like reloading your magazines, you need to know that. You need to know how to hotkey meds. So those are like the basic core things. And then the first things that you need to start learning are, one, you need to learn at least one map and how to get out of it. So you don't need to know the entire map, but you do need to know, you know, what are the primary extracts. And on PMCs, the primary extracts are the ones without question marks. And you'll probably want to learn some extracts on your Scav too. That's helpful. And then you need to learn how to make some money, which is the entire core of the content that I've been putting on this channel lately. Is how to make money on customs specifically. And the reason why you need to figure out how to make money is because you're going to lose a lot of it on your PMC. So you need to be able to generate income in order to lose income. And generating income is surprisingly easy once you have a few like sort of strategies to follow. And not sort of, but exactly. So the way that I made money early on when I sucked at the game was I mostly played my Scav. So you get your free loadout, you get in. And what I turned him into was a loot collector. So I learned where some good loot was that I could go and find consistently, bring it out of the raids, sell it, and then I used it to fund my PMC adventures, which were usually get in, you know, run around the map, try and do the same thing kind of that I was on my Scav, but with less success. I found the Scav runs were easier. Because in the beginning, if you don't know how to move about the map, you'll either get pushed by somebody and you'll die on your PMC, or you'll just get shot from who knows where. The Scavs are a little more forgiving in that way. So yeah, if you want like my top 3 things, dude, you need to pick a map. You need to learn the primary extracts, which, you know, I make a pretty solid video for that on customs specifically. And then you need to learn where some loot is. And if you want my... the hell? If you want my recommendation on the loot, you learn where the hidden caches are. So they're called loot caches or hidden caches. Learn where those are on that map that you're learning. So if it was customs, you'd learn where all the hidden caches are here. And the only way to learn hidden caches would be if you, one, like, had sort of like a good base for the map. Like, you need to be able to move into it. Like, spawn on the map in an offline mode would be the easiest way to learn. You spawn in, and you got to be able to, like, know where you are. So find yourself on a map. And then the way I learned the hidden caches was by following a YouTube video. I don't have one for learning those, but there's a ton of them out there. And then once you know where those are, you just go and keep running them on your scav, and that'll get, like, you know, you'll get a lot of knowledge on the pathways of the map. You'll still die, but at least you'll be making some coin. And then I would recommend just trying to do the same thing on your PMC. As often as you, like, can stand going into the game and risking your stuff. I found I was paralyzed on my PMC at first. And I'm playing on like a super budget... What? What did you say to me? I'm playing on a really budget kit right now. I think that guy just said something about my mom. Yeah, customs. It's a small map. It'll be better. It's totally not the case. All of the maps are hard until you know how to extract on them. And customs is hard because people just go there to fight. Or sorry, on factory. On customs, at least you can, like, spread out. The hardest point in customs is like the first 5 to 10 minutes on a PMC when everybody's like close-ish to where you could be. So, you know, you not knowing where people might come from is going to get you killed quite often then. But as soon as you get rid of that, like, 10-minute mark, and if you were, like, really struggling on your PMC, you could just find a cozy bush or somewhere that you think is pretty good for hiding, and then, like, watch a video on your phone or on a second screen. There you are. Did I get him? He doesn't sound angry. I think we got him. Yeah, like, seriously, kill 10, 15 minutes watching a YouTube video or whatever. You could watch, like, a map guide. You know, that would be a good use of the time. And then, this poor guy. And then play the map then. And then it's, like, you know, a lot more similar to... Oh, and this guy should just get his gun back. We're just going to drop it. It would be a lot more similar to a scav run in that case. Because, yeah, PMC raids right at the very beginning are especially hard. And I've pretty much dialed in a loot route that works quite consistently for me. That's what I'm doing right now. So that would be like, you know, after you learn a couple of the extracts, after you learn those hidden caches, you'd want to next, after that, learn a loot route. And that's like, you could watch any of my past broadcasts and playing customs. That's 100% what I'm doing. And the whole, like, purpose of me going the way that I'm going is to be beginner approachable as well. I'm trying to move like I would like, you know, teach someone new to the game. So you notice that I don't run a lot. I do run sometimes, but not a lot. I'm not just walking around like, you know, being an idiot either. Like, I'm usually staying close to some sort of cover, whether it's like firm cover, a wall or a car or whatever, or like, you know, like visual cover. So even just having a tree in between me and something else is helpful. And I'm just constantly like eye scanning around the different areas where I might see somebody. So those are the starting things, man. And it's like Tarkov starts to snowball after a while. So in the beginning it can be really hard, and like I've played a lot of the game, and I still struggled like crazy at one point this wipe. So when we say the word wipe, you may not be familiar, but if you're not, it's when the game resets and everyone starts back down at 0. So I just wanted to... Anytime, like when I run, it's usually because I'm in a more vulnerable area than I would like to be. Well, as soon as I get around cover, then I usually go back into my like pacing method here. Would you say it's worth looting scavs or only PMCs? 100% mostly scavs, actually. Unless the PMC's got good gear. Hopefully looting both. The reason why I say scavs is because scavs will have, like all of their gear will be found in raid. But yeah, loot both if you can. I won't loot somebody if it puts me in a really bad position. And in the beginning, you might not know what that is. So if, like, you know, a body's in the middle of this road right here, probably not going to loot it. It's always when you get greedy and looting that you die in this game. I can't count how many times I was looting a body and then something just walked up and one-tapped me in the head. I felt like I had 0 awareness. How often do wipes happen? There's not like a set time. I would say it's somewhere between 6 and 8 months. This stuff's all junk. So every time you loot something, you do gain experience. So, like, I don't really want to keep those items, but there is a benefit to me picking them up. And then just throwing them down on the ground. I still get the experience. So just a little bit more vulnerable than I want to be. Sounds like a scav, but we're not sure. I was dying that blue container. Definitely. I know a lot of people don't like going in there. They're like, it's too loud. I usually try and get in and get out. Yeah, sometimes you just get unlucky, man. There's a room over in the 2-story dorm that I never go into anymore. I've died too many times. So I'm like really trying to make sure that I don't see any dudes over there. I'm about to engage this guy over here on my left. Sounds like he walked that way, but... we're gonna let him walk back close. Chill here and cover for a sec. Metal is so loud. It's true. Yeah, if you know, you're in the wrong place, you go into a major choke point like that container and someone's close by and they hear you, they're just going to wait for you to come out and blast you. In the 2-story dorm, there's a side that you can go into, and there's only one door in and one door out, and it's just that one level on 2-story. And every time I go in there, man, I'm always afraid that someone's going to ambush me on my way out. It's happened a bunch. I go prone and crawl out of there, sure. Dude, there's like one of the people that I enjoy watching a little bit is Clean. So Klean. And he plays Tarkov a little bit differently too. So he plays quickly when he needs to, but he's like a total strategy player. And I love watching him like crawl around the map sometimes. It's just funny to see somebody. And he's like, you know, he's got a pretty big following, a big viewership. So it's neat to see somebody play that slow that's got a really big viewer base, because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, people are totally into this. And like people like every kind of Tarkov, there's a dude that all he does is camps extracts. I think his name is Extract Camper. Oh my gosh, a grenade in there. That sounds awful. All right, we're just gonna make a play here. Where are you? Little dweeb face. It's probably up here into the left. Oh yeah, I'm always forgetting about that sniper that spawns up there. Dead dude. Where is he? What happened? So I don't know if you guys heard the slide at the end. That's almost telltale for a player, or not player, sorry, an NPC. I feel like I'm playing Ring Around the Rosie with this guy. I'm not sure if there's a second one. See, like if you learn to run the map well, you can totally do what I'm doing right now. You just sort of like, you almost play in your own little world. Yeah. His name is his like actual Twitch name is Extract Camper. It's hilarious. So let's say you don't want to loot a dude because you're like worried about getting shot. Just walk up, click the body. I just got 106 experience there, and then immediately walked away. Like if you have the time to do that, that's a really good way to build experience and level up your character. I still think there's another guy. I don't know. What's going on here? Just pick up this stuff. Get some looting experience. There's a weapon on the ground. No space. Pick that up, throw it down. So looting weapons gives you a lot of experience too. Oh, someone's been at these caches. Feeling a little vulnerable, so I'm just like a couple of quick hops to get my... A dude around. Thought I might have heard something, wasn't sure. You don't want to die to the unknown in this game. Be paranoid. Oh, we got vodka. And the diary. And the garage. What a good loot container. So even if you like avoided every single fight possible and just went around looting these loot containers, you would be getting valuable experience as a newer player in the game. You're getting loot experience on your PMC. By the way, this is like one of the more dangerous areas that my loot route entails, but like it's a necessary spot. You just have to be really like, you know, really conscious of your surroundings. As soon as we get into this forest area over here, and like most of the time I resist the urge to just run. Okay, so up here, like, a lot safer part of the map. But anyway, you could just totally run through the map and loot. And that would be an alright way to play and learn. Because the learning curve is so high, like, some people feel like they need to fight in order to play Tarkov. At least at the start, right? Like, everybody loves fighting and everyone loves the thrill of it. Fighting NPCs is cool because they're actually difficult sometimes. Fighting players is awesome. But you don't, like, you don't need to stack so much difficulty onto your gameplay that it's overwhelming at the start. You can really limit it, which is another thing that I would recommend people do too. Just to start off with, right? Yeah, smoke. No smoking is bad for you. The reason why I moved my grenades around is because I'm not 100% sure on how the grenades are pulled from my inventory. Because it's supposed to be top, like the top row left to right, second row left to right. Like it goes column and then row. Like it starts in a new column, does the row, and then goes to the next column, does the row. That's what it's supposed to do, but some of the rigs actually do it kind of funny. Oh, look at that good loot. We love screw nuts. So something else I could be doing here is making sure that the items I have in this part of my inventory are my higher value ones. And so far, I think this makes the most sense. So like this is worth 18k, this is worth 11k, and this is worth 15k to me. I say to me because if you were someone that doesn't have access to buy them, it's worth more to you for sure. Oh, there's always an Ooga Booga bush camper around, man. Always. Either I'm it or somebody else is gonna be it. Just looking around, seeing what we see. I do actually need to get some kills with my Mosin, so I'm gonna think about that as I go up here. So sprint just a little bit, make myself less vulnerable, and now, like, you know, I know how to read these angles pretty well. This path that I'm on right now, this would be what I would call the path of least resistance. Most people travel up here, so if someone's over here, you know, I would expect them. And then usually all I'm doing is I'm moving, like I clear right in front of me, I clear right here, I clear this bush, so I'm just like, I'm trying to move the center of my screen to those different places. I notice my energy's getting kind of low. Okay, gotta keep an eye. I click and drag ammo because ammo doesn't play nice. It goes into your rig usually. I don't need to pick up ripstops. Sometimes I hear foot movement that sounds like it might not be mine, but it actually is mine. I don't know. I also try not to hit bushes as I walk, despite, you know, what just happened there, but I'm usually kind of like just skirting them. Just takes a little bit of practice and you can definitely get that down. T ammo's garbage. It's only 7 bullets. Let's grab a bulb. I don't think light bulbs are worth that much anymore. When the game first resets, they're worth a lot. Everybody wants them. Ranch? Yeah. I'm gonna come have a peek. Peek over here. Oh yeah, one of the spots you can find Saluas. Right in here. It's good to be paranoid in this game. It'll serve you well. It's when you relax that things go bad. It's hard though, man. Like, even if you were really, like, you've played a lot, you know what you're looking for, people will still sneak up on you in this game. People just do weird stuff. It's part of what makes the game so awesome. The game's so big that people can just, like, be in and be doing anywhere. Wonder if that Scav will show himself again. Just having a look down below. Hit once. It's a player scav. What? Oh, we did get him. Yeah, it definitely teaches you to pay close attention to detail. The problem with that is like in the beginning there's so much to take in that like to be able to focus on small details is really, really hard. So I sympathize with people that get caught off guard by all sorts of stuff. I don't know exactly where that dude was that was shooting at me. I'm assuming he was over there. I want to see what homie brought. What were you out there doing, friend? Well, maybe this wasn't a player one. I don't know. His silencer's not worth that much, but this is something else. Like if you see good attachments on guns, I'll just open them up and control click them. I don't think I need this. Yeah, we'll take it for now anyways. Grab a knife like we were talking about before. I discard my mask, grab a new mask. I think actually I kind of want the duffel. I believe duffels have a bit of a better value, and they don't take up any extra space, so... What? Let's go back up here. So, like, you know, normally I would be using an upgraded version of this gun with a sight and all the other good stuff, you know. So the game does get easier the better your gear is. I want to pick this up just for the experience. And then get rid of it. But like, you know, so if you were to put me into a raid with nothing, I would have a pretty decent chance at survival as opposed to someone that doesn't have the knowledge that I do. So it's like really, this game is so knowledge based, it's nuts. The more you know. And just taking some time, like if you haven't really got the maps down all that well, like go into a map in offline mode and play for 5 minutes. Run around the map. And just go like, you know, go check stuff out. You will benefit from that significantly. Let's get rid of you. Yeah, like 5 minutes here and there just to go in and play the map. And you might not seem like you're getting much out of it, but you know, you're reinforcing your knowledge of the locations, which is a big part of Tarkov. And then, you know, once in a while you could make another little mini objective. I was trying to think of how I could create some sort of like directive style content where I essentially like, you know, I give people tasks like Tarkov homework, so to speak. Like your homework today is to like learn where these 2 extracts are, or to learn where these 2 hidden caches are, something like that. But if you incrementally add to your knowledge, you just become a better player overall. Because again, Tarkov is a knowledge game. And then the game gets so much easier once you have a good base of knowledge. Like someone said the other day that I make this look easy. Well, I'm not playing in a difficult way, but like I understand what they mean. Oh god. Where are you? Oh, I see you. He's right behind that tree. Where do you go? Oh, he went into the building. There was another dude at the back that I saw his legs. I'm trying to get some Mosin kills from beyond 40 meters, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. As soon as you hear something firing slugs or like some kind of shotgun, be afraid. Be very afraid. There's +1. Just walk up here, click the body. I don't care about the rest. In the off chance that someone didn't loot this place. Cigarettes. Oh, I need you, metal scissors. What are we gonna get rid of? Oh, we can just take him. Let me get rid of my meds. Might seem like a silly thing, but I'm just gonna grab those because that'll help me buy a new CMS. And jackets. Jackets are like your #1 friend. Oh, we only got 1 energy left. Alright, time to go. After we get this gold chain. Okay. Maybe there's food in here. Food? Nope. That Scav might even have had food on him. Who knows? Time to go. There could be Scavs everywhere, so be careful. They changed the Scav placements and the AI for customs, like just as of 2 days ago, or even 1 day ago. So you're gonna start finding them in places where you didn't expect them to be. And yeah, knowledge is totally power in this game. Knowledge will do wonders for you. I have a buddy of mine that, you know, I've shown some things to, and I've played with him a bunch, and he's very stubborn in what he's willing to learn and spend time on. And, you know, he'll message me with like, I'm struggling, I'm this and that. I'm like, well, have you learned this stuff? He's like, no. I'm like, well, have you learned that stuff? No. I'm like, well, dude, you know you need to go do. He's like, oh, I know, but like, you know, you make some excuses, and that's cool. Like, play how you want to play, but I'm like, I'm giving you the formula, the winning formula, in order to like resolve one of your problems. And he's trying to figure it out on his own, I guess, or like do it his own way, and that's totally cool. I respect it, but for me, I wanted like the quickest way to like feeling like I wasn't a total idiot in this game. So anyway, I hope y'all found some of the tips, some of the approaches valuable. By all means, if you ever stop by the stream and you would like to know something, just come and ask. I'm more than happy to take the time to share that. It's the nature of what I'm trying to do with content online. And that's going to wrap it up for today. So we did a couple Scav runs, made some money. We made about almost a mil between our 2 Scav runs. And then our PMC run there, you know, we got some money, got some stuff. I can go sell all these things and collect some more money. I don't need money anymore. I really don't. And yeah, if you're like brand new and you're trying to figure out what you can do to expand your storage. So level 1 mechanic, you want to be looking out for these powders right here. You can find them in those loot caches. So there's a little incentive for that. And then when you unlock, I think it's therapist level 2, and you're gonna be like, wow, this is 1.9 million. But if you do these loot cache runs and you just like keep getting more and more consistent with them, you should easily have like cool 5 mil worth of cash. And it, you know, there's like a steep learning curve in the front of that, but as you spend more time and you start figuring out the loot runs and you start getting your survival rate up, and on your Scav, your survival rate will go up quicker than your PMC one will. You can just keep banking money, and then you get the flea market unlocked, and you can make even more money off of your stuff. And then you're gonna run into the whole like you're probably gonna bring out more junk than you need to be. And I'll show you guys a little graphic here. If you want this graphic, you can come by the Good Vibes Gaming Discord. I've got a little Tarkov section in here, and it's in Tarkov tips. We're just gonna scroll up a little bit. So this is like slightly outdated. There's one item I'll draw your attention to, and that's the car battery. Car battery might be worth taking for you from a profit standpoint, and you do need it for tasks. But these are the junky of junk loot items. So if you're trying to figure out what to take, these are the ones not to, basically. And then the reason for that is that they're generally worth less than 10,000 per square, and you can get your items. So again, you can just come get this from the Discord, and if you want a link for this, it's in all of my guide videos. You can find the link, just scroll down in the comments. So if we just quickly pop into this here, when I talk about like value per square, we'll look at this hose. So if I sell it, it is worth, you know, 20,000 at the low end. Looks like they can get up to about 35. Let's say it's just worth 20, right? So we take the amount that it's worth divided by the squares it takes up, and this is worth about 10,000 per square minus fees. This headset, which we carried out, so if you're in your backpack, we can sell the headset for 13,000 divided by 4. We're not getting, you know, it's just over 3,000 per square. So that's how you figure out dollars per square in value. These pliers, 13, 14, 15,000. You know, I'm not trying to usually hit this upper number here, but like if you wanted to be patient, you can totally do that. You can min-max your selling on the flea market. Yeah, like a ton of the items that I had grabbed, like, you know, certain kinds of ammo is worth a lot. Ammo's a hard one to learn, like that takes a little while. But there's a ton of items like these G phones, 10,000. The vodka, it's less than 10,000 per square. This gunpowder, less than 10,000 per square. Oh no, look at that. It's even over 10,000 per square. So hey, look at that. It's good to check. But yeah, I'm gonna head out. I gotta go do homework. Nice chatting with y'all. Have an awesome night. And by the way, you know, for those of you that have been stopping in, asking questions, I really appreciate it. It's cool to get to chat with some of the people that are engaging with the content that I'm making, and I'm always enjoying meeting other nice gamer folk. So it's you know, I appreciate your presence. You guys have an awesome night. We'll see you next time. I'm back again on Tuesday, 6 o'clock Pacific. If you want to come check in, we'll probably do some more of this custom stuff, and then I'm looking at doing 1 week from today, Sunday, I'm looking at starting to do some of my reserve runs where I'm doing map exploration. So if you're trying to learn reserve, those would be good sessions for you to come by and check out. Still working on not grabbing trashy ammo. Yeah, man, everything, the ammo took me a while. I figured out the items quicker than I figured out the ammo.